G'day guys, welcome back to the Fond SuperCoach YouTube channel. Today we will be reviewing round 12 and discussing some trades. It's a week of reflection as well on the year. As you can see, a terrible score, and I think my season is over. But let's get into it. And channel first, we are completing an upgrade before we talk about the rest of the players. Get out of here, LeBron. I've had enough. All right. Let's talk the team. So Sinclair, he was fine. He went massive early, and I was like, oh, this captaincy choice might have been a bad one. I was keen on Sinclair as a captain, but I don't think he did much at all in the second half. So take the 113 is what it is. Zorko just butchered the ball again. Fantastic, Dane. Thank you very much. Some of these good matchups. So Essendon and I think Melbourne, he butchered it a bit, and Gold Coast, we want to be capitalising on these good matchups for Dane, and yet here we are. Roberts 91, he was going well in the first half, but sort of faded out of the game as well, so it is what it is. I will probably look to upgrade him next week after the Richmond game. Fonte was really good, scored an 83, which means his break-even is super low at 9. Should make a lot more cash, which is good because we're going to need some cash. We're bringing Clark in this week. He should go all right. I'm not expecting too much, but hopefully he can make a little bit of cash. Has Carlton this week. Can't imagine that's too bad for him. Baz 129. The reason I didn't go with Baz captain is because I felt that Gawn had the biggest ceiling on the Sunday games, and my projected was absolutely atrocious, as you guys can imagine, going into Sunday. It got worse, but I think SuperCoach has taught us this year it can always get worse. So yeah, that was a frustration of mine. But yeah, whatever. I lost 19 points. It's not the end of the world. Was concerned he wouldn't get up, so wanted to have a big score option that was bigger than 123. Brayshaw should have taken this. Obviously, you always take 120 plus, but I got greedy because I've been farming captain scores this year. And the week that I don't, I plummet down the rankings, is what it is. But yeah, he was really good. Hopefully no delayed concussion. Had a big hit sort of late in the game, but I'm sure he'll be okay. Dawson started really strongly as well in this game, but didn't do much after quarter time and just sort of coasted to a 112. It is what it is. Tom Green, 115 in a big scare for the Giants. Yeah, it's fine. 10 clangers. Clanged at the end, so he went down from 125 to 115, but it is what it is. Sarong, 97, we take that. Conditions were perfect for Sarong, but just some shocking hat kicks that have killed his score, but it is what it is. Dacos, 116 against the Hawks. Yeah, he was good. Had a lot of clangers as well. I feel like all my mids are just getting heaps and heaps of clangers at the moment, which is pretty frustrating, but it is what it is. Lindsay, 59, it's whatever. MCG game this week. Hopefully he goes okay. Hopefully he, like the rest of the Demons, has some goal kicking practice. That would be fantastic for my mental health. And then, yeah, went to C on Max. Felt like he gave Rowan Marshall a bath, but yeah, just didn't score that well. Had some opportunities. Had a shot at goal as well that he never converts. Yeah, just didn't take enough contested marks, I guess. And then Petrarca just faded out of the game after halftime again, which is getting frustrating. But it is what it is, I guess. Rankin in a 90-point thumping you would hope would score more than 60. This is kind of why I didn't want to start Rankin, and then I sort of caved when the roll looked really good, but now the roll isn't so good. And yeah, he's spending a lot more time forward, which normally means in big wins you cash in, but it's not the case this time. Hopefully his role is reverted to what it was previously. And then Toby Green, oh my God, why did I trade in a small forward? This is just, any time I look at a game and I'm like, yep, one team is going to get pumped. It just never happens. And there, yeah, Toby Green, 57. Roll was bad. Break even is still low, so I'm going to have to keep him another week, but it is what it is. Campbell Gray, 70. I did have Kai Lohman here instead of Campbell Gray. I ended up deciding that Gray had to do less to make the same amount of money as Lohman, so I was just going to back Gray in. I also noticed a lot of Lohman's big scores came at the Gabba, and he's sort of only at the Gabba every second week. Which is, not ideal for that. There was the chance that I would get burnt if he cashed in against Essendon, but he did not. Essendon probably had their best game in the last couple of years and pushed the Lions pretty hard. So, yeah, Lohmann did not get to cash in, even though he played really well and kicked 3 goals. And then Johnson, 30. Could have had Erasmus here, which I still think the logic for not getting Erasmus was sound, but got really punished for that this week. And now his cash gen is going to go really well. So it is what it is. But yeah, Johnson's probably going to get suspended as well for a high late bump on Nas, who fortunately wasn't concussed, but that action should get suspended. So yeah, see you later, AJ. All right, let's get into trades. I've absolutely flown through that because A, there's not much good to talk about this week, and B, I didn't have many players playing. So what am I going to do with trades this week? So I've already done one. We've upgraded Sicily to Clark. Oh, can we talk about how a captain of a footy club can play half back and has 6 disposals for a game? Like, that is outrageous. Just unbelievable. So, I don't know. I'm an idiot for trading in Sicily. I shouldn't have traded in I shouldn't have started Stewart and then gone and traded in Sicily in poor form. That was just asking for trouble, but it is what it is. After I discuss trades and stuff, I might sort of talk about reflections for the year, what I'm thinking for next year. I do think my season is over, so I just one too many mistakes, unfortunately, or two too many mistakes, really. But it is what it is. So what am I doing with the rest of my trades? I am getting in one Marcus Bontempelli, I think. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to swing here. I'm going to get Carroll up to the Bont. Now, I do have a bit of a decision to make here. Do I want Bont or Richards or Libba? I don't want Richards. Sorry, I don't want Libba because we've seen in the past, and particularly last year, Libba can struggle to get through an entire season. So as much as I love Libba, and I really hope that he doesn't get injured because I think this year could be the Dogs' year. Yeah, I'm just not. I'm going to bet against him in that sense. And then there's Richards, who I really like Richards. Think he's one of the best players in the game, genuinely. But that's where the tags go. Now, obviously, he scored a 143 this tag, but I don't know. We could see McGuinness used in this game if Mitchell thinks they're going to get smashed. Windhager tagged Pickett last week. There's James Jordan here. Toby Bedford here. So that's why I'm not going with Richards. However, I would love to own Richards. I'm just picking Bont over him. I think I can only get one of them, so that's what I'm doing. So let's lock that one in. And I think they're the only trades I'm going to make this week. So, yeah, that's what I've got for trades. Why am I trading in Bont now when he will drop more? So the trade-off with that is, does he drop quick enough to justify not holding? Because, for example, I think his break-even is 137. So if Bont goes 125, he drops a little bit of cash, but then I miss a 125 score. Is what it is. He also has Hawthorn this week, whose midfield has been insipid the last few weeks. So it could be a big fill-up for the Bont, and I just want to get involved in that. My philosophy with buys that has worked well for me in previous years is you only trade in guys, once you hit the buys, you only trade in guys that have had their buy already, which means I can't get a Caldwell, a Whitfield, who are guys I think many will be interested in. But the reason that I'm not going there is because they play one less game, quite simply. So the difference between Bont and Whitfield is probably going to be 15-ish points per game, maybe only 10 is what it is. But Bont also plays an extra game. So now Whitfield's probably a bad example because he is pretty cheap for D1, but 550 with a break even of 130, like I'm willing to let that go for a little bit longer, and it's much easier to enjoy SuperCoach when you own the Bont. Just like it is when you own Gorn and Cherry and all these painful non-owns. So I'm just locking that one in. Other options coming off the buy. If you don't have Rosie, I really like Rosie. I'd also like Richards. Can understand Libba, not for me, but can understand it. Butters, I'm waiting a week on. So next week, I'm planning to double upgrade. We'll talk about that shortly. So yeah, Butters, I'd wait a week on. Horn Francis may play this week, but I would also wait a week on him because his break-even is quite high. Who else had the bye this week? You could go LDU, but as I said last week with Sheasel, I think there's too many mouths to feed in that North Melbourne midfield, so I'm not a fan of that. And then you could go a Hewitt or a Cripps, but they're not for me as well. I don't trust Hewitt to survive the whole year. And Cripps drops. And he just has stinkers sometimes where he actually plays really well in the eye, but he butchers it. So yeah, don't want anything to do with that. Let's set this up for this week. Reyes on field. I don't think Huswaite will play this week if you're counting on him. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. I think Gray is going to play forward. So that'd be nice. So I've actually got a full 23 playing this week, which is huge. So I should actually get some ranks back this week. I feel like having 3 of the Saints and Freo players is on the lower side. Like a lot have Clark and Nasiah Wanganeen Miller as well. So I'm hoping to get some ranks back this week. It's also, let me just pull the fixture up. I have a lot of good matchups this week. So Dale at Marvel against the Hawks is a good matchup. This Rosie matchup is not good. I will say that. Brisbane, this is a good matchup for Zorko, good matchup for Roberts, good matchup for Bont, as I said before. Not a great matchup for Dawson. Probably an okay matchup for Green. Good matchup for Dacos. Good matchup for Chera. Decent matchup for Gawn. But Gawn is Gawn. And then like mega matchup for Cherry. Like, let's just get this out of the way. That's how I'm going to line up for... let's go like this, actually. That's how I'm going to line up. The captain's score is set at 150 this week. So if Bond can give me a 200, I'll take it. But, you know, yeah, actually, no, I'm not going to. I'm just going to do this. So why am I doing this? Because I think Cherry genuinely goes 200 this week. And I don't want to have a captain score that takes me away from that. So I'm going to hedge with Dacos, who should go well against Melbourne. I could also hedge with TDK against Goldstein though, so that is another option. So yeah, there's heaps of good captains options this week. TDK, Cherry, Dacos, Bont, Dale probably wouldn't go there. Smith, who is Smith playing? Gold Coast, that's probably a good matchup as well. Realistically, Petrarca should in theory be a good matchup, but it's hard to trust his scoring at the moment. So yeah, that's the team. I think I still need... How many upgrades do I need? I've got 5 defenders, so I need 1 upgrade there, which will be Nas next week. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mids, so I need 1 more midfielder, and I need 1 more forward from Toby Green. Okay, cool. So, as I said, next week, so Lindsay to Nas in 1 trade. Great, I've now got 2 upgrades left to make. I think my plan is going to be to get... there's a midfielder on the top of my mind that... I wanted Anderson, who... This has really frustrated me. I thought, like, he could get tagged against Freo, and he could get tagged against the Saints, and against Hawthorn, to be honest. Doesn't get tagged in either of them. Averages, like, 135 over the period, so that's pretty frustrating. You would think that there is a tag from Geelong and GWS, and probably Melbourne. So, who knows? I'm hoping I can get Anderson relatively cheap as my last upgrade. I'm not optimistic because I don't think I'll have enough cash, but we'll see how we go. Gray and Fonte are going well now, so maybe I can get there. So who are the other midfielders that I'm targeting? Players. Here we are. Let's go midfielders. And let's go by average. Butters, obviously. So yeah, Butters is next week. With a 105, and he's getting tagged, so that is within the realm of possibility. He'll be down to 545, and I will be very keen to go there. I'll probably just go there from green, to be honest, and then try and work out F5 and F6 as I go. I mean, maybe I can just hold Daniel until it blows up. We'll see. But yeah, that's the team and how I'm going to line up for this week. I did mention some reflections I discussed before, so yeah, let's get into that. So I think the first one is Tom Stewart. Now this pick went as badly as it could, and I still don't think I'd be trading into Tom Stewart if I could avoid it, despite some decent scores, averaging 100 and a half points per game over the last 2. So going all right, but The roll isn't great, even though this is an extremely good run for Geelong. Now, why am I not going? Now, why is Tom Stewart a problem? So, I think we all know the story of Tom Stewart. Gets a knock here, so he only goes 100. Then he goes injured here for a 9. And then we got laid out in round 3 and 5 and 8. So, disaster pick. So, who could I have started instead? Well, I was never going to start Nas, so I won't count him. I was never going to start these two either. I was never starting Clark. So Holmes I wasn't massive on either. Be good to see starting price. I should have done more research about this before, so my apologies for that. So I didn't really love any of the defender options, but I probably would end up just paying up for like Sinclair. Because I did like Sinclair early on in the season. So, and let's like... Sinclair's a bad example. Let's use Nas. So if I'd started Nas over Tom Stewart, who is only 30k more, I would have got how many points? Let's get the calculator up. All right, so 96. When did I hold Tom Stewart till? I think here. We'll just make sure. Tom Stewart. Yeah, so round 7, I got rid of Tom Stewart. So that's how many points Nas would have had. Now, go away. Sorry. Should have prepared this before, but here we are. Now, how many points did I get from Tom? So I got 100 here. This 9 did drop off. I get 118. 64 and 67. So the difference there is 400 points. Realistically, so that's 430 points. Realistically, this 9 is probably only really 50 points, and then probably like for the other laid out. So in 5 would have been 50 points. Yeah, so realistically, that's cost me 336 points. All right, that's great. Let's go to a different one in James Sicily. Now, my other option when I brought in Sicily was Nick Martin. So let's have a look at how many points that has cost me as well. So, I understand this is sort of cherry picking, but these are the options I was deciding between. Let's have a look with Sicily. So I traded him in for Richmond. So I got 111 and then 121 against Melbourne, which is great. And then I get 50, 84, and 37. So what would I have gotten? These will come back, so don't worry. So 403 points from Sicily between now and then. What would I have gotten from Nick Martin, who I was tossing up between? I've been big on Nick Martin for a while, so hold on, Which round did I bring this donkey in? Round 8. Nick Martin. Alrighty, let's have a look. And this is going to be the painful one. So round 8. So Nick Martin went 98, 145, 95, 163, 128. So there's another 200 points. And then I add on the difference between Nas and Stewart. 562 points is what those two decisions have cost me. Let's see where that would have put me. So if I go, okay, I'm 26361. So let's add that in. And let's go to rankings. So this is what my overall score would be. 26923. So I'd be, what is this, about 240 points off rank 1. 26923. So I'd be sitting in the top 50. So that's how much two decisions can really hurt you. it is what it is. That's the game. I could analyze every single decision. I'll probably do that at the end of the year, but that is not for now. I think overall, I've generally played pretty well. The other decision that has really hurt me is Elijah Hewitt instead of not trading him out, instead of trading someone else out, which has been very painful because I've lost about 160k and counting on that after another good game this week. This Green decision looks bad, but I was going to get Chad Warner instead. So this really only costs me a trade. I'm willing to accept that because I think Warner went 56 this week. So I actually netted points this week. 58. So I lost 1 point is what it is. But yeah, so starting Tom Stewart and trading in Sicily has cost me 562 points, which would have me within the top 50, as well as 2 to 3 trades. It's pretty painful. So yeah, I think everyone who started Tom Stewart knows that pick has gone as badly as possible. Now, not many of those people were stupid enough to trade in Sicily like I was. And whilst we're on the topic of reflecting, I could sit here and say, well, if I had X over Jaden Short or Harry Perryman, I'd be in a better position as well. The difference with Short and Perryman is they were largely protected by ownership, whereas Stewart was like a 10% starting pick and Sicily was like 8% owned when I traded him in, and which went up, but yeah, just disastrous. Yeah, so he's 7% now, being traded out by 0.6, like absolute disaster. But yeah, that's my round in review. As I said, there's a lot of good captain's options. There are some very good trading options as well. I am reasonably confident that getting a Dogs midfielder is a great idea given their run. So I doubt everyone has all 3 of them. I'd be going there. I'm not massive on Kennedy with Treloar coming back. But yeah, he's played really well this year and couldn't fault you for going there. So yeah, that's the team. Quick one this week. I hope you enjoy watching. Let me know how you guys went in the comments. I think this is one of the toughest weeks. It's definitely the toughest week in the last 4 seasons that I've played Supercoach for. It's pretty crazy. Like my score's really bad and it was carried by 2. It was dragged down by 2 underperforming premiums, really. Because like Sicily goes 100, there's plus, 63 points. And all of a sudden I'm in the 1700s. And then, Zorko 66, whatever. And I'm down 1 premium as well because of, the Reed, Horn Francis, McRae all getting injured in 1 week. So it is what it is. I thought I'd be well equipped for this buy and I ended up being essentially 3 extra players down. So it's tough. It is what it is. No point lamenting it too much. But yeah, let me know how you guys survived the hardest week in the last 4 years of Supercoach. And I will see you next week. Bye, guys.